For a long time, I thought home was something you bought. A house, a piece of property, a front door with your name on the mailbox. That's what I thought home was. But life has a way of teaching lessons we never signed up to learn. Somewhere along the road, I discovered that home has very little to do with square footage and everything to do with feeling safe. Maybe that's why I love my little house so much. Not because it's perfect. Believe me, it is not. The floors creak. The repairs never seem to end. And there are projects I keep saying that I'm going to get to someday. And some days, I walk through the rooms making mental notes of everything that needs fixed and wonder if that list will ever get shorter. But when I stand in my kitchen at night and look around, I don't see imperfections anymore. I see survival. I see answered prayers. I see a woman who somehow made it through things she wasn't sure she'd survive. And maybe that's why this home means so much to me. Because it wasn't handed to me. It was built by broken pieces. When I was 16 years old, I left home and I moved to Pennsylvania. I was young, too young, honestly. I lived in a furnished one-bedroom apartment in a city where I didn't know a single person. And every morning, I took the bus to Chi-Chi's where I worked trying to make ends meet. Looking back now, I can still remember how lonely that apartment felt. The furniture wasn't mine. The decorations weren't mine. Nothing about it reflected who I was. The walls felt cold. The rooms felt quiet in the wrong kind of way. Have you ever been lonely in a room full of things? That's what it felt like. I had a place to live, but I didn't have a home. Back then, I thought loneliness was something that happened when you were physically alone. Now I know, loneliness, it can follow you anywhere. It can sit beside you in an apartment, ride the bus with you, follow you into crowded restaurants. It can sleep beside you at night. Because loneliness, it's not always about who's around you. Sometimes, it's about feeling disconnected from yourself. And honestly, I think a lot of people understand that feeling, maybe more than we realize. Life moved on after that, like it always does. And before long, I found myself living out of my car. It's so strange how quickly life can change. One chapter closes, another opens, and sometimes without warning. I remember those days differently now. At the time, they felt so terrifying, uncertain, and heavy. But looking back, I see something else. I see a younger version of myself doing the best she could with what she had. I see resilience I didn't know I possessed. I see courage hiding underneath fear. At the time, I couldn't see any of that. All I could see were the problems, the uncertainty, the endless questions. How am I going to get through this? What's going to happen next? Will life always feel this hard? Maybe you've asked yourself those same questions. Maybe you're asking them right now. Because life has a way of putting all of us in seasons where we simply don't know what's around the next corner. And that's hard, especially when you're trying to be strong, when people are depending on you, and when you're already tired. For me, one of the hardest chapters came years later. I found myself trapped in another abusive relationship. At first, like many abusive relationships, it wasn't obvious, not right away. But over time, things became darker, scarier, more dangerous. And the beatings, they just became unbearable. I lived with fear every single day. Fear for myself, for my children, and for the baby I was carrying. Even now, years later, My neck carries permanent damage from one of those nights. There are some memories you never fully leave behind. But there came a moment when something inside me finally knew that I could not stay any longer. I couldn't keep pretending things would get better. Couldn't keep waiting for change. And I definitely could not keep risking my children's safety. So one night while he slept, I made a decision. I gathered my 3 toddlers, grabbed the diaper bag, and barefoot, pregnant and terrified, I slipped out the door. I could still picture it. The darkness, the silence, the pavement beneath my feet, the sound of my heart pounding. Every step felt like fear and freedom all at the same time. And when I reached the telephone booth and called 911, I had absolutely no idea what was going to happen next. None. Didn't know where we'd go, how we'd survive, or even how we'd rebuild. All I knew was that staying was not an option. Sometimes courage doesn't feel brave. Courage sometimes it just feels completely terrifying. Courage looks like shaking hands on certain steps. Sometimes courage looks like running, and that night it did. We were taken to a shelter for women escaping domestic violence, and I'll never forget that first night. Not ever. I can remember lying awake listening to my children breathe. I remember the fluorescent lights in the hallway, the unfamiliar sounds, the uncertainty. But I also remember something else. Relief. For the first time in a very long time, we were safe. Not secure, not settled, and not comfortable, but safe. And when you've lived in fear long enough, safety feels like a miracle. Maybe some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you've had your own version of that moment. The moment when survival finally gives way to safety. When you realize you made it through something you thought might destroy you. And when you finally can breathe. Years went by and life continued and children grew up. And new chapters came. Some beautiful, some difficult. And eventually, fear took a different form. Instead of being afraid of someone else, I became afraid of the world itself. Over 5 years, I barely stepped outside. I became trapped inside my own home, a prisoner of anxiety, prisoner of fear, and a prisoner of PTSD. I convinced myself I was safer inside, safe behind locked doors, away from people, away from life. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right, because existing is not the same thing as living. And for a very long time, I wasn't really living. I was surviving. Again, just in a different way. PTSD is a strange thing. Depression is too. People often think healing happens in a straight line. One day you're struggling, and the next day you're better. But that's not how it works. Healing is messy, slow, frustrating. Some days feel hopeful, and some days feel impossible. But for years, I wondered if I would ever feel normal again. Would I ever leave the house? Would I ever feel safe? Would I ever recognize myself again? Maybe you've asked similar questions. Maybe you're carrying battles nobody else sees, the kind that happen quietly, the kind that don't leave visible scars, the kind that follow you into grocery stores and doctor's offices in ordinary afternoons. If that's you, I want you to know something. I understand more than you know, because I've lived there too. And while I can't promise healing happens quickly, I can tell you this: it happens slowly, one step at a time, one small victory at a time, and one brave moment at a time. Today, when I stand in my little kitchen, I don't see a perfect life. I see evidence that hard seasons end and that healing is possible, and that God can carry us through things we never imagined surviving. The smell of bread baking, the sound of rain against the windows, my kitty sleeping in sunbeams, and the simple rhythm of ordinary life. These things mean more to me now than they ever could have years ago, because I know what it feels like to lose them. I know what it feels like to long for them. And maybe that's why gratitude comes easier now. Not because life is easy. It's not. And there's still worries, and still struggles and uncertainties. But gratitude, it's not about having a perfect life. It's about recognizing the beauty that's already here. And there's so much beauty here. A cup of coffee first thing in the morning, the smell of garlic butter in a warm kitchen, fresh laundry folded on the couch, the comfort of knowing everyone is safely home. Little things, but ordinary things become extraordinary when you've spent years fighting just to survive. If you're in a hard season right now, I want to tell you something that I wish someone had told me years ago. The chapter you're living today, it's not the whole story. It feels permanent right now. I know it does. Pain always feels permanent when you're inside it. Fear does feel permanent, and loneliness feels permanent too. Depression always feels permanent, but feelings are not forever. Seasons change, lives change, and people heal. And one day, you'll look around and you're going to realize you've traveled farther than you thought possible. One day, you're going to sit in your own safe place, maybe with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, listening to the rain, maybe watching the evening light fill a room, and you're going to realize something. You made it. You made it. Not perfectly, and not gracefully every step of the way, but you made it. And all of those moments that nearly broke you, they help build the person sitting there. The woman who knows strength, and who knows courage, and who understands gratitude in a way that she never could have otherwise. That's the woman I see now when I look around my little home. Not the scared 16-year-old girl. Not the woman running barefoot in the middle of the night. And definitely not the woman trapped behind locked doors. I see someone who survived. Someone who kept going. Someone who learned that home isn't a building. It's a feeling. It's safety, peace. It's belonging. Maybe that's why I love this little house so much. Not because it's perfect, but because after everything, it finally feels like home.